Good evening, Madam President, and I rise in support of the legislation. And first, I just want to take a moment as well to do some thank yous, and I may come back to some others as well if I miss over any, but if I do, I apologize. First, I want to thank Senator Looney for prioritizing this, as Senator Maroney said, as a caucus bill. I appreciate his leadership, his support, unwavering support on this legislation that we've had. It's extremely important, and I appreciate all of his work and active support as we move through this important bill. Certainly have to thank Senator Maroney for his tireless work section by section and his patience over the last few years as we have moved through the bill. I want to thank Representative Arconti for his work, Representative D'Agostino as well for helping to bring people along, Senator Witkos for his work that he has done to be a co-sponsor of the legislation. I want to thank Senator Kissel for his yes vote, because I think he was one of the first yes votes on the other side of the aisle when we first brought this bill out, and he brought a good perspective, a personal perspective, as he talked about earlier with his own experience with data theft and identity theft. So I thank him for his work as well. I want to thank the Speaker, Speaker Ritter, for his support, our staff, Courtney Cullinan, Liz Keys, Ken Sicenti, who's been working very hard on this for a number of years with Senator Maroney. I want to thank Joel Rudikoff from our office, our legal counsel, and certainly thank the Attorney General's office for their input and help and support as well, which we would not be here without their support as well. We have a very small but mighty group of data privacy folks in the Attorney General's office, and they are known around the country for their good work. So, but really want to thank everybody for their work. And I want to particularly just also point out to what we heard before from Senator Martin when he said that he wants to go back to his district and talk about this bill and how important it is to his constituents. I think we all want to do that because I think over time we have seen how important data privacy is to all of us, and that this is a very significant bill and probably one of the more important bills that we'll be voting on this session. We have many caucus priorities this year, and they're all important, and this certainly ranks up with one of them, as one of them. Madam President, as was said earlier, I first began working on this concept or idea back in 2017, and so glad I had a great partner in Senator Maroney to work with on this as well. And the reason why I thought this was important is because we really do have, as I said on the floor last year, that we have a crisis of privacy in our country right now. People at this point have no expectation of any privacy anymore, and there's something fundamentally wrong with that. People don't have an expectation of privacy even in their own homes, whether they think the TV is watching them, or their smart speaker is listening to them, or their phone is listening to them, or they get ads because they're either watching a particular TV show or hearing something, or they're searching something. There is a crisis of privacy that we must overcome to give people confidence that there's some modicum of privacy in their lives. And I think in some ways people have just given up. They've just said it just doesn't exist. And we have waited and waited and waited for the federal government to do something, and they haven't done anything. They haven't acted. I know there's lots of people who would like to, but they haven't carried the ball across the finish line. And so it's now up to the states, as I believe it is also for net neutrality, but it is for the states to finally take control of this issue. This, I think, is one of the biggest issues in our country that we have yet to tackle for individual folks in decades. And the fact that it hasn't been done yet is really a crime. And so I think that's why California has passed the bill. Colorado has passed the bill. Virginia has passed the bill. Others have passed the bill. And I'm so proud of the fact that we will have a bipartisan bill pass this circle, hopefully the House, and earn the governor's signature, that is one of the strongest in the country and certainly has one of the strongest protections for children in the country as well. Extremely important that we send that message that we are protecting people's privacy, but we're also protecting children and their privacy and their identity as well. Because kids go online all the time and they don't know. They're just going to say yes to things if there isn't some sort of a parental permission there as well. So I'm just glad that we're able to be here in this place today at this moment to pass this legislation. Because what we want to send the message to our constituents across the state is that in a bipartisan way, which has been done in other states, we have been able to come together as Democrats and Republicans to pass legislation that is strong, effective, and will make a real difference in their lives. That's why I think sometimes people get cynical about politics, because they don't see sometimes the tangible effects that we can do in this building or any government building. And this particular bill, along with many others that we'll do this session, will be tangible for people to see and to show them that we are taking their concerns very seriously. And so, Madam President, I again want to thank everybody for their work and their support on this legislation, for taking the time of the task force over the summer, over the interim of between sessions, to be able to come up with a bill that is strong and effective and yet still works. I think, you know, when we were working through the bill and ensuring that we were still on the right path, garnering support, making compromises, negotiating, that we still had the stamp of approval from a number of different organizations. And a lot of that is because of the tenacity of Senator Maroney. But I want to particularly thank Consumer Reports for their support. They are an independent, nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We all heard of them. When we hear Consumer Reports stands in favor of something, we tend to take that to the bank. They're in favor of this bill because they know that data privacy is a crisis in our country. And so having their support, along with our colleagues, along with others around that table, leads me to believe, and I know for a fact, that this is a strong bill that will help people and that will give people confidence that they may have not had before while they're on their devices. So, Madam President, I want to urge my colleagues to vote for this bill as we send it downstairs. Hopefully they'll vote for the bill as well in a bipartisan manner, and we will send it to the governor's office and be one of the few states in the nation, and we can be proud to say this, one of the few states in the nation to have a data privacy bill, and yet is one of the strongest in the nation as well, and that we should be very proud. Thank you, Madam President.